Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to TWR. My name is Tavian. This is my world of reptiles. I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, get notified on future content. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, you rock. Thanks for coming through. So I'm hanging out with one of our snakes from back in our breeding area, part of the breeding program that they have going here at the store. This guy is a bit of a feisty monkey, which is why I have him out today. He's pretty worked up, he doesn't do very well with handling. So I'm just I was told that, and so now of course naturally I'm the type of person who likes to deal with the feisty snake. So of course this is the one that I'm handling today, just to try to work with him a little bit. Not that it's going to be a pet or anything. He's definitely just in the breeding program. I'm not actually sure even if this is a he. It didn't have a tag because it's obviously for their knowledge, not for the stores. So no, don't know what morph this bad boy is, but he's absolutely stunning, right? He's absolutely gorgeous. So, or she, whatever, I'm not really sure what he is. But anyway, a little while ago I did a video about just the different the different ideas when it comes to keeping, whether you should start with the beginner or not. Anyway, and in that I mentioned that there were, certain people who did want to work their way up and level up to the more advanced species that they want to work with. And I said that I had a little bit more I want to say on that, and so that's what I'm talking about in this video today. So now there are a lot of people who are constantly coming into this hobby of all ages, old, young, of all different sorts of demographics. And there are plenty of people out there who have grandeurs, hopes of wanting to own something more advanced, say like a large tegu or a monitor or some other large species of snake even. But for themselves, they do want to take the more leveling up route, where they just kind of work their way up, work on their skills to be able to actually handle these animals. And this could take them anywhere between a couple of months, a couple of years, several years. And so something that I have seen, and I don't see it often, but I see it enough to feel the need to mention it on a video, is there are people who be coming in who, they'll be like, oh, well, check it out. I have been keeping these animals for 10, 15 years, and now I'm ready to get X, whatever advanced species of animal that they're looking for. And somebody will have the audacity to come on and say something like, well, what took you so long? What took you so long? This is such a hazardous question. This is such a hazardous mindset. There is no time frame. There is no set oh, if you're going to get into reptiles, you have to get into the one you want within this amount of time. Otherwise, you're just not a real keeper. Or whatever your thoughts are on that, right? There is no real set deadline on that. So if somebody wants to come into the hobby and they're like, I want to get this animal, but I want to take some time to work with other animals that will get me the keeping experience, the handling experience, the husbandry experience, all of that necessary to be able to properly handle this more advanced species. We don't have the right to come and tell those people that they should do that in any sort of time. And when they finally do decide to go about that, to say something like, well, what took you so long? There are so many reasons why it could take somebody a long time to decide that they're ready for that more advanced species. They're advanced species for a reason, right? You can't say that just jump into it willy-nilly. I mean, yes, as I said in the last video, there are people who are all about doing that. And if they do it right, they can. But for those who choose to take the time they need to properly get there, we don't need to rush that. We don't need to rush that. Take, for instance, there's a 10-year-old somewhere, right? Who comes to the parent who's like, oh, dude, I just found out about monitors. Can I get a monitor? Their parents are like, whoa, buddy. Well, that's a big step. You really need to work towards that. I'm all about you getting into reptiles, bud, but you're not ready for a monitor. Not at your age, man. So let's work our way towards it. He agrees, the kid agrees, whatever. All right, cool. I'm going to start working with these other animals. And then as years go by, they get into all sorts of other animals that are not quite the one that they were looking for, but they enjoy these other animals, and it's giving them all sorts of experience. And then 10, 15 years down the line, they're finally come out into the world, and they're like, hey guys, I am getting this animal, dude. I've been wanting this giant retic for as long as I can remember, and I'm finally getting it. Y'all got any extra tips, or where do you suggest I go, or something like that? And then you get that person who's like, But what took so long? What took you so long? What took so long is that they were 10 years old. They were 10 years old and not ready for that animal. So they had to take the time they needed to actually be able to properly take care of that animal. It's not your place to come and tell this 10-year-old that they should have already gotten this animal. Like, yeah, they're 20-something now and they should have already gotten it. Who cares? They're getting it now and they took the time that they needed. To actually get there. It's not our pace. They're not getting that animal for you. They're not getting that animal so that you can be like, yeah, another person in my club. They're not getting that animal for your enjoyment. They're getting the animal for them. So that means they should get that animal when they are ready to. Not when the rest of the world is saying, oh, you should have already had it by now, 10, 15 years. What took you so long? It took them that long because that's how long it took for them to be ready. Period. And you don't get to question that. I don't get to question that. No one gets to question that. This hobby is not a straight road, okay? This hobby does not have straight facts, okay? It doesn't have anything that's just like, oh, you have to do things in this order, in this time frame to be considered any sort of relevant. Like, that's just not how it goes, dude. Everybody's gonna take things at their own route. Like I said, there's people coming into this hobby at all ages, you know, in all sorts of walks of life. And so we gotta understand that not everybody is gonna be ready to just gung-ho jump into that advanced species, even though that's something that they want. There are plenty of people who would much rather take that leveling up process where they work with different species to get the experience that they need. When it comes to handling, husbandry, and all that other stuff, there are other animals out there that can be really great for helping them to get the experience they need to actually be able to take care of that more advanced species. So we don't have the right to try to rush people through that. So that's just something that I've noticed and I thought about when I was making that last video and I said that. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that because that's something I've seen. I wanted to stop too. Like, it's just as problematic to be like, what took you so long? As it is to have the stance of just get whatever animal you want. Or as it is to have the, you have to start with these specific animals. Like, those are all toxic stances to just have a full-on, like, you have to do this. To have just a solid stance there is just, it's problematic in various ways for different keepers because not every keeper is the same. And how people choose to go about their lives with keeping is going to be different. How people choose to get to the experience they need to get to something more advanced is going to be different. Whether people even want to get to advanced species is going to be different. So, I don't know. I don't want to keep ranting because I'm definitely going to start slipping into the point where I'm repeating myself repeatedly. But, yeah, that's just the whole thing, y'all. We got to stop with the what took you so long. We got to stop with this having an expectation that everybody's supposed to go with the same route as you because they're not. I'm not, and somebody next to you is not. Your best friend is not. You know, like, everybody's going to take things differently, and we need to respect that, and we need to stop with this whole expectation that people need to be at a certain level within a certain time frame, or need to take certain steps to get to the animals that they want to, or start at certain levels, or beginning, or experience, or intermediate. We got to just stop having this just like set expectation for everything here in the hobby, because this hobby is probably one of the most fluid things in my life, and it's constantly changing, it is constantly evolving. I'm constantly finding new people, it is constantly getting new people in it, and so we can't just have this just one all be all in this hobby. It's just not gonna work. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead. It looks like he's settled out a bit. Yeah, he's a little jumpy still, but he's not quite as like meh as he was when I first pulled him out. When I first pulled him out, he was definitely like gung-ho biting, but he's definitely getting there. With a little bit of work, he cannot be quite as fussy as he is, but he's still a little jumpy now, or she, whatever they are. But anyway, wrapping up this video, you know, you all take care of yourselves and respect each other and respect new people coming into the hobby and respect the hobby in general and respect your animals and just love each other and support each other in your growth wherever you are at your stage in keeping or wherever you're trying to be with your stage in keeping. Just keep the respect, y'all. That's all it's about. We're all in this together. We're all a part of this community regardless of where you are in your keeping experience or where you want to be in your keeping experience. We're all just trying to get in the same place. So anyway, you all take care of yourselves, love your loved ones, love your reptiles, and you keep spreading those herbs.